ahead. I'm going to be letting people in as we're going here. I'd love to just start by saying thank you so much for being here. This is my birthday episode. If you're wondering what's on my head, it's a little crab. And that's because that's what a Cancer is. So I thought it would be very cute and fitting. And also being a little unicorn. So today, what we're going to be doing, the agenda is this. We're going to start with some reminders here in just a minute about what the space is. We're going to get right into just like having a group chat about what you're calling in. And I'll be asking all those same questions that I shared in the group and then also in the promo. So we can reflect a little bit about July and move into August with intention. And one of the reasons I really like to do that, especially for neurodivergent people, is because we tend to just like kind of keep going through life and life is so automatic and it just seems like it's always just happening, and it is. But we don't think about what just happened and the growth that we experienced and what really has been good, really slowing down for a minute. And then also setting ahead some intentions. This is very casual, but also what you speak into the world. Actually, we just talked about this. What you speak into the world, it just calls it into your experience, even if you're not like actively working on it. So these types of communities, these types of spaces, really beautiful for that. And also just being inspired by others. So we're going to be chatting about that. I want to chat about ghosting too. This also is the sisterhood space. And what happens a lot in sisterhood is wounds that we've experienced from either the past that are dragging forward into the future, or things that have happened in good girl programming, the way that we think we're supposed to be, that hangs around and just sort of feels icky and unresolved. And what I would really like to do is remove the shame from some behaviors that we all have had or that we all still do sometimes, and give us resources and tools and real practical application for how do we manage when this comes up. Number one, why the hell does it come up? Because it happens. And what do we do? What do we do if we're the person who is unintentionally ghosting or accidentally ghosting or doing it on purpose, don't know what to do with it? Or we are on the other side of it. And how do we hold space for other people who may be going through some things while also navigating what we need? So we'll talk about that. And then I have some really fun announcements for some major changes that are happening with Main Character Coach and also Nice Girl Detox. And I really want to share. I'm so excited. We'll do the giveaways at the end too. So that's everything. I'm also going to be pulling up the chat here. So if you want to chat back and forth, make some comments while we're talking, go ahead. But then also we'll open it up for discussion. Anybody who wants to join on video and be in the gallery, we welcome that. Again, I know we've had a couple of people join since I opened. If you don't, that's totally fine. So just a couple reminders, you can come and go. Also, you can run around, move around, eat, drink, body double while you're doing something else. These times are really good for that. So if you have like stuff to do, you are free to move about the cabin. Don't feel, we're also a lot of us neurodivergent, so sitting still maybe not a thing we are good at, and that's okay. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I do want to share a little bit of a reminder too for maybe some who are new. This is a multi-generational space. So something very important to me as sisterhood is that there are women who have come before us and they have wisdom to share. And I want to receive that. There are women that will come after us, and I want to make sure that we're passing through a legacy of kindness and care and thoughtfulness and consideration. And in a lot of ways, what that involves is, yes, this is a multi-generational space. It's also a space that's safe for LGBTQIA plus. This is also a safe space for survivors, chronically ill, disabled people, Black, Indigenous, people of color. This is a space where we celebrate everything that makes us different, neurodivergence. So that's what a unicorn is. It's not, when I started this space, it was a little bit of like everybody feels like a little bit of a black sheep, but I always hated that because it sounded like very, very much othering ourselves. And I really love the idea of owning so much the idea that we are different and celebrating that, all of us, for all kinds of different reasons. And the unicorn logo is puking a rainbow because it is the detox. It's taking the shit that's not ours and throwing it up and turning it into something magical. And so I just want to share that as we get started tonight and open it up for anyone who's willing to chat a little bit about what they want to call in for the month. I have several questions. Does anybody want to just start and I ask you questions as you go? Do you guys want to share something that's really present for you? This is your space. So if you would like to, just put a little message in the chat or even just raise up your hand if you're on video, and we'll just call each person up one at a time and then maybe even open it up for like a little bit of back and forth discussion. So I'll wait just a couple seconds to see if there's anybody who wants to go first. And this is okay if it's awkward, right? You know what I mean? Sometimes silence happens, it's fine. We'll let everybody think, do I go first? Is it gonna be me?
I can start.
Leela, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put you in the spotlight. How's it going?
Blessed and highly favored as always.
Yeah,
So
you look
great.
gorgeous. You are glowing.
Oh, thank you. It is the filter. Um,
No, I've seen you in real life.
one thing that I was really excited about in attending tonight's event, I mean, I'm always excited to attend, but one thing in your newsletter about this event that really stood out to me was like letting go, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering it, letting go of like things that you've kind of been harboring, like a detox,
Yeah,
if you may say, right? And just knowing that, it may have not been like a big issue, right? But it's been underlying, And
yeah,
really, yeah, I'm really interested to get into that conversation. Like, how do you navigate it when it's not big enough to mention, but it's still lingering, under your skin a little bit and comes out at the most maybe inopportune time or times that you
yeah.
don't even realize that it was bothering you. So yeah, I was excited on that for that.
Ooh, I love that. And I'll just say this much. I love that you bring it up too. Like sometimes the I like to call it there is a difference between an energy drain and an energy leak. And I also like to think of it like we hear about energy vampires, but we don't hear about energy leeches. There are these things that like add up.
Yeah.
And so these things slowly suck your life force away and it adds up, especially as other things in life are happening. So I love that you bring up that there is a difference between like the big things and the things that are just sort of nagging that like, all right, this is something that I'd like to address. So what is coming up for you? Do you want to share?
Yeah, I can share. Never been shy. So I just think that, and this is going back to, I think maybe like two or three sessions ago, we talked about like, the saying of like, making sure your cup is full, making sure that you have your oxygen mask on. And I've always been that person to fill everyone else's cup, celebrate everyone else to the utmost, and I do it with complete joy and
Ooh,
desire. Like it is almost, I mean, like it's almost like a my own personal reward if I can go
yeah.
above and beyond for someone else. But there are times where my energy has been depleted and it seems as, and I'm not great at asking for help either, but it seems like whenever it is my turn to receive, the same intention that I set for other people, it's not met with the same excitement or happiness. And I don't think that I'm in the anomaly. I think everyone goes through this from time to time. But it is something I think this is my busiest season and I'm just so grateful that I'm in these opportunities where I'm busy almost daily. But it is,
Yeah.
whenever you look up and you're like, "Man, when is the last time this person has been intentional with me?" And it doesn't feel good to keep a record of that, because that's not how relationships are supposed to work.
Yes, I'm sorry, it froze for a minute.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry. my fault.
It's interesting that you're saying that too, because literally, like even I think maybe 3 or 4 sessions back, C was talking about something very similar. So this is very much a conversation. Oh yeah, Ashley's like, boy, do I relate. Honestly, Leela, too, I'll say this much. I feel like a lot of I'm not sure if you identify as neurodivergent or not, and you don't have to share if you're not comfortable.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can share. I took I think it was ADHD. I took the assessment
Mm-hmm.
6 months ago because I was feeling like high anxiety and I didn't know why. Again, going career, nonprofits and all of that, my side hustles. And I took the assessment and I was like borderline enough to take ADHD medication, but uh
Yeah.
I took it for a few months and I liked it, but it didn't make me feel good at like the very end of the day, you know? So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I can deal with my neurodivergence without having to be on medication. Like I'm grateful
Yeah.
enough to be able to navigate that. Now, do I sometimes pop a Ritalin from time to time when the day is like
Yeah. I
hard?
get you, girl.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's not like I'm dependent on it to live my life compared, as
Yeah.
I know others have. Hmm.
Yeah. Well, and one of the reasons I like to know about neurodivergence is because there are a lot of traits we have in common, and being givers is one of those. Not everybody, but it can be a little bit of, you know, yes, I think that we all have different levels of this comes very natural to me, and it's also just something I love to do. Um, Being thoughtful, but it also comes with the like balance of when are you overgiving? When are you sharing to the point of I'm depleted and this is too fucking much and I have age for the room and I'm the one that's reliable. It's like, it's there's also a little bit of the heaviness of an image. Do you feel that way or am I speaking out of turn?
Oh my gosh, you're like in my text messages to my besties right now, for sure.
Okay.
But there's just like yeah, but there's a balance, right? As I want other people to handle it, I'm also very type A. I'm like, oh my gosh, it'd just be easy
Yeah.
to do it on my own, right? Which again, I
Yeah.
know I'm not the anomaly, but I think it'd just be more of like the intention of hey, like I see you. Is there anything that I can do? And like whether, it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be as grandiose as I treat other people, but it is just the
Yeah.
intention behind it, knowing anything and everything, right? And I also, I mean, at this point, this is just like a podcast for me at this point, but like,
No, this
uh,
is great. We're
just
sorting through some things. This is great.
yeah,
You take your time.
but I also don't, and maybe this is difficulty. I don't want to tell someone that I need this because at that point I'm going to question their how genuine they are, right? So it's like I want you to do it on your own because like we're all kind people and kindness is like kindness is the bare minimum. So for me to tell you to like look up sometimes, maybe that this relationship is just not what I should have invested in, right? Which brings me to like, oh man, you put all your eggs in one basket for this person in friendship or work relationship or whatever, right? And it's just like, oh, you knew better. And I heard a quote the other day and it actually made me think of you, Mo. It was like guilt is I'm gonna butcher it. Guilt is knowing you knew better, but still did something opposite anyway. And I was like, oh
Ooh.
my gosh, yeah. It's not like the
Mm.
guilt of how they treated me. It's like the guilt of, oh, I knew better than to trust you with whatever. But I didn't follow my gut anyway.
Yeah. Ooh, so
Hmm.
this is good. I love that you shared that because what I'm hearing is that, and tell me if this feels right to you,
Yeah.
that one, if you were to share it with this person, then it feels a little icky because like you want this to just occur to them.
Hmm.
It's like, oh my God, you know. But then also, um, is there a little bit of a fear of them rejecting your request may not be the right word, your connection attempt. Do you feel like they would not receive you well, or how do you feel about this relationship?
Yeah, and again, like I'm not talking about just like one person in general.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's
Okay.
just
Yeah.
it's more of like just understanding if I had gaps in life, like this is one of the gaps that I would love to conquer through relationships. And just a caveat, I know
Yes.
this is kind of silly, but like it's not my husband, right? Like, we
Yeah,
love
no, that's
Ryan.
not silly.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We love Ryan.
Just
Ryan
clear
and I
some
are
things
great.
up.
We just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just understanding, like, I get so excited with the thought of like helping people or pleasing people or whatever. But I look up and sometimes, yeah, months or whatever goes by and I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. But I know that reciprocity is not going to come. So at that point, am I dealing with like, hey, I'm going to reach out to you and say, you know, your turn, your turn to celebrate me.
Yeah.
Like I'll be waiting, right? Because that doesn't seem genuine. Or like, if they say like, oh, I've been really busy. Okay, well, as a friend, I should also extend grace, or as a business partner, I should extend grace, or as a, fill in the blank, I should extend grace. But it's just like, man, I'm busy too, and I still found
Exactly.
space and energy to provide to you, right? And I also battle with like, hey, no relationship should ever be tit for tat or it's not genuine. And I pride myself on always being vulnerable regardless of a professional or personal setting. But it
Yeah.
is like I don't know, like if I look up and if I had to tally, I know I'm like the scales are tipping.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, like
It's clear.
yeah, yeah, it's clear. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
so you don't see yourself higher than me. Like it's almost like confusing. Like
Yeah.
you don't feel
It
the
feels
way.
like rejection, right? It's like, the fuck
Yeah.
is this? You're not
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
excuse me, like I'm such a good friend. Like,
Yeah.
because you are. I know it, and I know how you show up for people. I would love to share a little thought, and then I would love
Yeah,
to open it up and see if
absolutely.
there are other, because it seems like a lot of people are really relating to you on this.
Yeah.
Um, I think what I'm noticing here is it doesn't sound like this is you keeping score. It sounds like it pretty glaringly obvious. And what I'll also say is like one thing that I remind myself in these situations too, because I can spiral. Like, what do I do? Like, like I care about this relationship, but like remind myself like, okay, what do I have control of? And that's my own energy and that's my own effort. And so I think this sounds like a time where if you feel comfortable with this, maybe it's time to rein back in some of your output with these individuals, and start having some boundaries that are, hey, I really always want to be here for you. I'm having some time boundaries this month and I'm not able to commit to anything right now. Or just maybe finding little ways that you can insert, like even before something I love to do is say, hey, I have a policy before I commit to anything additional. I want to take a couple days. Can I get back to you by this day? You'll hear from me. I'll tell you if I can do this. Or I'm sorry, I don't have anything left to give this month, or even just a little warning in advance to let people know, hey, just so everybody knows, this is a crazy month for me. You're probably not going to hear from me at all. And don't ask me for anything. I'd love to open it up. Does anybody want to, share, have a little bit of a back and forth here and thoughts for Leela, things that you're experiencing?
Oh, I have thoughts.
Okay, who says this? Is that Sierra's voice I'm hearing?
No, it's Ashley's.
Ashley, I don't see you. I'm gonna pull you off the spotlight here, Leela.
Hmm.
There we go. I just figured out how. Oh, Ashley, there you are. Okay, I can see you
Oh,
again. All right, cool. So I'm gonna spotlight you. What would you like to share?
oh, I was just thinking, I so resonated with your oh, pardon for the thunder. I'm sitting outside in a little bit of a light rainstorm at the
Oh,
moment.
that sounds really nice. You don't
Um,
have to apologize for
but
that.
it lines up very much with what we're talking about.
Hmm.
I resonated so much with what you were talking about, Lela, and I've observed it within myself for like the last 6 months. Um, to the point that like for me personally, it got to a like a physical detriment, and it's caused me to go on a very deep journey with myself that ultimately adds up to making space for myself, making room for myself. Because, like you were talking early on about how you subconscious like you give and you subconsciously kind of put yourself on the back burner. And like for myself, especially in terms of doing things that are pleasurable or enjoyable, I don't do that enough in my own life. I work and then I take care of my aging parents. Like I live a caregiver's life of sorts. And so it's like in that light that and in that space that I've recognized, like taking time and like you were saying, setting boundaries, but boundaries that are intentional for my own activities. That being a crucial part has been such a game changer. So again, like I'm sitting outside on my back porch, enjoying this water spirit. So I love being with the rain and just being, it's summertime, so of course how can you not enjoy that, right? and
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I could have been cooped up in my house that's air conditioned, and I've been doing that all day. I work remote and I enjoy that life. And I think that I just feel so incredibly blessed to have it, to have that that I don't know, privilege to work remote. But I've also learned so much in that about setting boundaries, because even when I'm at home, I'm still constantly, now I'm overtime with work, you know what I mean? Like it's after 5 o'clock and I'm still thinking about my to-dos for the day and what I didn't get done. And I'm also simultaneously making dinner and making sure like medicines are taken and lawns are mowed, and I'm juggling all this stuff. And it's never ever occurring to me that I didn't set aside an hour to do like yoga. I didn't, or I like to
Mm-hmm.
color in my spare time. I didn't do that. You know, little things.
Yeah.
And it's just that intentional making space for yourself that I find that has been the biggest game changer. Because it ended up, for what it's worth, my last little bit is just, again, hormonally speaking, I've been on such a journey with that. And part of it is diet related, which is crazy. And I've come to recognize like the same exact behavior that I do about things I enjoy, I do about food. So I'm a video producer, if I have a shoot day and I'm out in the field filming all day long, I promise you, oh ladies, I ain't eating. I don't eat until it's like
Yeah.
9, 10 o'clock, and I'm not eating good stuff either. I'm
Mm-hmm.
taking care of myself, you know? So make room for yourself.
Mm.
Bottom line is these days.
I think,
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm going to pop. I'd love to just do a couple little closing thoughts. And then if someone wants to add something else after this, we can absolutely move into that. But I would love to just say, Leela, I think one thing that's great is there needs to be a shift. You can feel it. You're ready for something. And playing around with boundaries is cool too. Like you don't have to get it perfect. Like maybe even just like writing down some messy thought. I love to start with what I'd say if I was allowed to have no filter, like, okay, like saying my shit talk, I like to start with that and then reel it in to be like, okay, what would serve this relationship and what's in alignment with me. What do you feel like moving forward? Do you feel like there's anything you could use from support from us, or how do you feel like you want to move forward with this?
yeah, I think, well, one, I see that everyone's going through the same thing. So again, like I knew I was an anomaly, but it makes me feel better just reading the chat, right? I think that I just have to extend myself grace and just like lean into my feelings, right? Like it is okay for me
Yes.
to be frustrated with the situation, this person, and with new information, that feeling may change, right? Like they may, turn around, or the situation may turn around, and my boundary or my wall doesn't have to be as high. But for right
Yeah.
now, I have to meet, I think for me, I just have to meet people where they are, and that's going to be uncomfortable for me for a little bit
Yeah.
until either I get over it in due time, or
Yeah.
things in general. So, but I'm also not
Yeah.
giving myself a timeline, like I
Yeah,
want to
exactly.
feel. however I want to feel for as long as I feel, because I deserve that to
Mm.
myself.
Yeah. Ooh, I
Mhm.
love that. And something that a client that I have says all the time, she's so great with boundaries. She talks about the
Isn't it?
difference between building a big giant wall and having a gate with a latch. You know what I mean? It's like it's
Yeah.
not permanent. You can walk through it,
Yeah.
but also it's there.
Oh, yeah.
So I love that. Keep us updated.
I
And then if
will.
you need anything after this, you know how to reach me. You've got my phone number. I'm here for this. And it sounds like the community of people here are like ready to support you.
I appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks,
you
Mo,
for
for this. Great.
sharing. Oh,
Absolutely.
I just love you so much.
Love you.
And I thank you for being the first to share. All right, I'll pop you off the spotlight and I'm going to, I think there's one person who, oh, there's a noise going, but I think it just stopped. Okay, so we just heard a little bit about what's going on for Lela, something that she's ready to release. So, in some of the questions, I'll just re-ask some of the questions, and you can answer any of them that you want. Whoever would like to go next. What are you working on for the month ahead? Like, what are you calling in? What do you want for your life? This is for the month of August. What are you releasing? So, if you want to do something like what Lela did, what do you want to let go of? What is no longer serving you? What do you want for reflection? Like if you think back in this last month and you think about July, what kind of growth did you experience, whether it was pleasant or not? Maybe it's realizing this relationship is kind of bullshit right now. Maybe it's that. Or also, I think what would be fun is if you could even just ask yourself, if you have evidence of sisterhood in your life that really feels good, sometimes that helps remind us what we want in friendship is like, this person was great this month. Or maybe this community in general has shown up for you in a way that you want to share. And then also, I'd love to know from anyone if you have some support needs for the month of August that you'd like to share with us as a community, let us know. Last little challenge I'd love to share is I want everybody to be thinking of your life. Like, Ashley, thank you for what you said about taking time for yourself. Also, play. Like, I know that we talk a lot about self-care, but also play is self-care. Play is such an unlocker. It helps bring us online to all kinds of ways we can be alive in the moment, and joy isn't some nonsense thing. It's like really super important. So I'd love to plant that seed about play for the month of August. So with that said, is there anybody else? I see a little hand raised. Oh, and Vicki, oh my God, I'm so glad you're here, you beauty queen. I'm so glad to see you. I'll put you in the spotlight. Chef Vicki, how's it going, girl?
Hello, y'all. Oh my gosh. Happy birthday, Mo.
Thank you. Thank you so
Can't
much.
wait to see you and celebrate with you in person.
Aw.
And Leela's looking like Carrie Hill. What's that lady? What's the girl's name from that show? Carrie, like she like looks like Olivia Pope.
Olivia Pope.
Oh my gosh, Kerry Washington, you're right, you
Carrie
do.
Washington. She looks like Carrie Washington.
Oh my
Uh-huh.
gosh, you
Oh my
do.
gosh, girl, skin is tea, honey.
For real. It really is.
But but oh my gosh, I'm so happy to hop on this call and see you both. And then I see Sade, I see Raven in here too, and I love those girls. So it's so good to be in the company of all of you and all of you that I haven't been formally introduced to. So, but just to piggyback on some of the things that Leela was saying, one thing. So I was in this women's group for like a year, and one thing that we talked about was boundaries because boundaries are so important. And I feel like that me myself, even though, I feel like I'm very confident in a lot of things, like when to say no is very difficult for me because I do love to help and I do love to be in service, and I'm a part of the hospitality industry. That's what I naturally do. It's just
Mm.
easy for me. But one acronym that I live by, and I want to share with you ladies, is FOG, and that is
Ooh.
fear, obligation, or guilt. And anytime I feel fear, obligation, or guilt, I say no,
Mm.
because that's when
Love
I
that.
need to engage my boundaries, because those things aren't of, and I don't want to like take us too far one way, but those things aren't of God. Like it's not of it's confusion, like being obligated, feeling guilty, like that's not a pure feeling. So anytime I feel those things, I always engage boundaries and I try to take a step back. So And Mo, to your question, like you asked this question, and I was like, oh, I have an answer. And I felt like that I haven't been clear on what my answer would have been or should have been for a long time, up until recently, until I had the time to play, because I've been in survival mode. And I think a lot of people don't realize that you can live for years in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode,
Yeah.
are you really able to create? Are you really able to dream? Or are you just so focused on your reality? Hello, you feel me, girl? Are you just so
Mm.
focused on your
I
reality right
mean,
now? But this is not your reality. You create
yes.
your reality, right? So because
Oh
I
my
hadn't had
gosh,
the time to
yes.
play, I was like, oh man, I have to do this, I have to do that. And so stepping into the month of August, I want to be clear. I want to be focused. And I don't want any confusion in my dynamics and where I stand with people, whether they be platonic or romantic relationships. I want clarity, because where I can stand in my truth is where I will feel most safe.
Mm.
So, and if I can't stand in my truth with you, then do I really need your company? Um, and I think that's up for us to decide,
Yeah.
but also too, I think that women are just so, I mean, we are physically, we are not the stronger of the sexes, but I feel like because we're not the strongest of the sexes physically, right, that we have this heightened intuition. And so we're always reading the room, and we're always like, assessing. And because like you think about just human nature, like just the animal kingdom, even, right? Like those animals that aren't physically strong, they have heightened awareness. They're always looking and peeking and peeping the scene. And so I think women are no different than that. And so we're very in tune emotionally, and we can feel certain things from people. So why ignore those feelings? Why ignore
Mm.
that discernment? It's there, and it is a gift, and we should embrace it, and we should listen to it, and we shouldn't conform to what may be agreeable, but what feels right for us. So that's my thing that I'm stepping into with, is that absolute discernment, and exercising it, and not being afraid to say, you know what, this isn't for me. I don't feel good about this. And you know what? And if I and because I am made from love, and I want to love naturally, like I believe that you can work through a lot of things. But some things are just, you know, that's for them to figure out, and for you to, just take as a lesson too, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, that's what
Oh
I want
my
to share.
gosh. That was great. Wow. This is
Oh,
what I love about a group discussion too, because there's just so much wisdom in sisterhood. And I love what you shared because, especially when we think about sisterhood, when we think about our own, individual beings, like we're all so raised in, you think about good girl programming, right? It's all very, be pleasing, be helpful, be kind, and we've all probably heard be seen not heard, and all of those things. And so I love especially you talking about really getting into your body and getting into the truth that is yours, but also like the collective wisdom of women here sharing with each other, and what you've shared here today. No more fog. Yes, Sade just said no more fog.
no more fog.
Like really really leaning into that, and these things are boundaries, and all of what you shared too. These things are tools that we only can sharpen when we practice, and sometimes it can be a little wonky feeling, or like Leela said, like there's going to be some discomfort with changes that will come in your life, and really coming home to yourself, and knowing what your truth is, grounding into what is right for you. That is beautiful. I love that. Leela said clarity is also kindness. It allows and encourages the ability to create a space for decisions. Yes. Oh, I love that. Does anyone want to add anything to what Vicki shared, or want to chat with Vicki a little bit, or something that spurred an idea for you?
Can I hop in?
Yes, let's see. Is that Ashley?
Be me again.
Okay, I'm gonna put you on spotlight and then I'm gonna take myself off. Okay, whenever you're ready.
I was debating on whether or not I was going to speak up. Can you believe that, ladies?
Not here.
No, I was always, here's the thing is I was always that eager kid in class that it did always have something to say, you know, when the teacher opened
Yes.
it up, or if the teacher wanted somebody to read, I was game to do that. I like it. And part of the reason I want to speak up is because honestly, frankly, Vicki, it's you. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Ashley. You are just something about your energy is beautiful. It draws me. Again, I'm a filmmaker, video producer. I make things that move on screens. And so you asked what we're all working on and what we're trying to call in right now for us in this next month. And Vicki, I think maybe you might have inspired me. I hope to connect in a couple months for this reason, because I have been working on a screenplay for the last year or so. It's a adaptation or a revision of the Fried Green Tomatoes. It's, if you know the book or the
Oh my
movie.
gosh, so good.
I was blessed to read the story, the actual book a couple years ago, and found myself so moved by so many aspects that I was compelled to. I was like, I have to write this. I have no other thing I have to do in my life, but I have to do this. And I'm happy to report I'm like 90% of the way done. But in this last month, I've had the worst writer's block. And
Mm.
I know how the story goes and I know how it should end. And there's some key plot points that, you gotta keep in there, right? But I'm making a story that's a little bit my own, it's also lived through my own experiences and the world as I see it and my own perspective and the world grew up in and how it relates and things like that. Very unique perspectives, and I find myself blocked. So in this next month, my hope, I finally I likened it earlier to, I feel like I've been standing in front of a big concrete wall with one of those chisel things, the metal chisel things, you know what I'm talking about, in the
Hmm.
wall. And I've been just hammering away and it's not giving. It hasn't made any move. Yeah. But then about 2 nights ago, I don't know if it's cosmic or what it is, divine. I do trust in the timing of everything, but a crack appeared in that wall, ladies, and things are
Mm.
moving again. And I can tell that I'm in transformation right now, but I don't
Awesome.
know how it's going to take shape. So, your encouragement, again, Vicki, would love to connect on the side, just because, man, I feel like the intent is to actually make this film. And girl, you got actress vibes all over you. I don't know if
I
anybody
mean,
has ever this,
she
but
does.
doesn't she?
She is, Leela's like, she's a star,
I want
baby.
to put her in the
Yes.
spotlight. Anyway, so that's my thing right now. Thanks for
I
listening.
love that. Oh, congratulations on your breakthrough. And Vicky, thank you for sharing. My gosh. All right. Well, I'm gonna pop both of you guys off. Thank you so much for sharing, and also Leela for getting us started. We have about 10 minutes here before I shift into some announcements. I would love to open up the floor to anyone else who would like to share. Again, tonight we're talking about what we're calling in or releasing, growth that maybe you want to reflect on, celebrations that you want to have in your own personal life, or in sisterhood, play that you want to call into your experience in the next month. If you do want to talk at all about the topic that I put out for everyone, ghosting, open the floor for whoever would like to join in. Oh, Sierra, okay. Hey, I'm so glad you could be here. Whenever you said in the group that you weren't going to be here tonight, I was like, no.
And I was like, if it shows, it's, I mean, life has just felt like this giant ball of like static, but like sheer chaos. I mean, I don't know if that makes sense for anyone else, but like the last few months has just been like survival mode, right? Like I am feeling the survival mode more than anything. And so I'm super happy to be here, but like I did kind of want to talk about the ghosting thing because like that was always super super hard for me is being ghosted, especially by friends, like that whole rejection sensitivity and expecting me from other people, that really messed me up for a long time. But it was interesting because uh so I know you mentioned earlier a few months ago or a couple sessions ago, I had mentioned, I guess it was December last year, I was like, I am no longer available for one-sided friendships and, friendships of convenience and just kind of being the, yeah, you're good enough for now person when I was just like, no, you're my friend. Like, and I've got your back. I'm loyal. I'm going to stand by you. I'm going to be there for you. Um, and I just wasn't getting that out of other people or, relationships, friendships. I mean, even on a professional level, I would pour my heart and soul into my job. And then, at the end of the day, I would still be thinking about work and there was no, slowdown. But the ghosting thing, for me personally, I had to really understand that, I do it too. And I have, especially since December, because the one connection in particular that I was kind of putting my foot down on was like she's kind of tried to make her way back into my life and like I keep her at an arm's reach and there hasn't been any genuine effort to reconnect, but recently she had shared something about being a friend of convenience and how she's not going to match that energy. And I just I could not at all hold my tongue. And I was like, you know what? I completely understand the out of sight, out of mind mentality because I've had to let friendships go, and I hope that you stand your ground, and I hope that you move forward in an honorable way and find better connections. And I felt bad. I felt really bad because that's not what nice girl Seaira would do. She would have just been like, "Oh, poor you." Um, but afterwards, it was also met with accountability on her part, and she was like, I'm so sorry. I did drop the ball, and I completely understand that our friendship fell apart because I wasn't meeting you. I wasn't being a good friend. And so that felt good because, like, even though my voice shook, I still spoke up. And instead of being afraid of, you know, ruffling feathers or causing a fight or anything, I just kind of expressed how I was feeling with love. And it was met with love. It doesn't mean that we're going to continue the friendship because it's also kind of the same thing she's always said, but it felt good to, I don't know, come from it from like a healed perspective. And ever since I have done that and I've put my foot down, the amount of like amazing connections that I've made has been incredible, absolutely incredible. There are so many women that have come into my life in the last like 6 months that are just genuine. Like they're just so genuine and they care for me and they care for my kids. And I mean, even one of them who knows that me and my husband hadn't had a date night in like 3 years, she had offered, I'll watch the kids, I'll watch the kids. And I'm like, yeah, I'll schedule it. Yeah, I'll schedule it. And she just got tired of hearing me say that. And she walked into my home and she put it on the calendar. And she was like, no, this is your date night with your husband. You were dropping your kids off at my house at 5 o'clock and you will come and get them the next day.
Oh my
Go.
God.
And so it was scary to kind
Yeah.
of walk away and also kind of in turn like ghost people. But in letting go of those connections, so many amazing things has like happened. And I just it blows my mind. Like I really just cannot 6 months ago, I never would have thought this was happen. Like I would have never thought that I would
Yeah.
have any more female connections or a sense of feminine community outside of Nice Girl Detox, you know, actually in my life present that checks on me every day, that asks me how I'm doing because they want to know how I'm doing. Like it's just been absolutely insane. So with
And you
that
called
being
that
said,
in, not to interrupt you, but like I'm just saying, like that's something like me and Ashley were talking about when we're in these communities and we share what we need and we share what we want and we share what we're worth.
yes.
That is exactly that reminds us in life and it grounds us into the purpose, you know, of this
Mhm.
is what I bring to the table, this is who I am, and this is what I'm about. And then you are so great. I just want to celebrate you because that's how you make an honest connection. No, we don't know what's going to happen with you and your friend, but you are coming at it from a more honest place. And sometimes we fear, well, if I say this to them, you know, what will happen? And, you know, will they reject me or will, you know, our friendship be awkward? Or, you know, we have these fears, but ultimately what you did was say, you know what? If we're going to have a real relationship, you know, like this doesn't feel good. And you did it in a kind way. Like, hey, you know what? That didn't feel good the way that you were.
Mhm.
And now you guys have an opportunity to have a new jumping off point that's from a more honest place. And now you have more safety in sharing what you need, which is just gorgeous. I
Easy.
love that you shared that. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. But that's my update as far as
Ooh,
the connections, the ghosting, and also being the ghoster and how
yeah.
sometimes it was kind of necessary because I mean you weren't hearing my words, so let's just take the actions out of the picture, you know?
I like that you say that. You know, one thing that I'll do after the call tonight when I get everything organized, I put together some thoughts about ghosting in general. And I think what's cool about what you just said, and it really speaks to what I'll share with everyone later for you just to look through. Um, is the idea that there's two sides. I've been the ghoster, I've been the ghostee, right? And we know that it can be it could even be things like nervous system overload, and then you go into a shame spiral, and then you don't know how to repair that relationship, and so how do you re-enter the relationship? And then if you've been ghosted, you also have some rights. You know what I mean? While also being a kind person who's like, I'm aware that things you know. And so I'll send some thoughts for everyone. If you want to talk about that more later, let me know. And then thank you for sharing and thank you for
Yeah.
giving us this update and being such a great advocate, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of abandonment that can happen in this. Self-abandon if you're ghosting, self-protection if you're ghosting. Strangely, they happen at the same time. But then also for the person on the other side of that. And so having compassion in these conversations where we can just kind of, you know, destigmatize and remove some shame from this and make it an open conversation that's like, hey, let's show up better for one another, let's show up better for ourselves, you know. I love you. I'm so glad that
Love
you
you.
shared that.
And happy birthday too. Yes, by
Thank
the way.
you. Thank
So
you. My birthday month's almost over. I'm almost done squeaking it out.
you can pass the torch to the Leos. We'll be
Yes,
happy
the
to take
Leo
it.
Queen here. Yes. Okay, cool. Well, we have several that would like to share. I think my updates will only take about 5 minutes. So that means we've only got about, and then we've got the giveaway. We only have about 5 minutes to share. So what I'd like to do, we have Sade actually raised her hand first a long time ago, and I made a mistake. I'd love to give Sade a moment. Jessica P. and then also Jamie commented. So let's see if we can squeeze in a couple more here. Jessica P. There you are, girl. Are you still wanting to chat a little bit?
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to bounce off of some of the things all the other girls were talking about.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved how she talked about that fog, fear, obligation, and guilt. I've never heard it that way.
Yeah.
And I really resonated with that. And then when Lila was sharing, I was thinking about, when were they intentional with me? That came up for me earlier this week. And I got to the point where I just realized, you know what? It's okay if they don't reach back. I am going to be the person that reaches out. I'm going to send the text message and say, I'm thinking about you no matter what. So I have those relationships that have friendships. If they come into my mind, I send the text message, and I do it out of because I want to keep my side of the street clean. And, it doesn't matter what their side is going to be. Intentionally, I need to do what I need to do, what's right. I hope that makes sense. And then when Vicki was talking about standing in my truth, I really like that because, like Ashley said, we have a hard time finding time for ourselves with life, with work, with, being a caregiver, all the things. Where am I standing in my truth? Where am I finding time and space for me? I also would love to hear more about ghosting. I'm dealing with something like that myself. I think
Mhm.
as women, we deal with it a lot. And I would love to hear what everybody else says. And I just want to say happy birthday and thanks, girls, for being
Oh
here.
my
And I'm glad.
God. And also, I love you so much in the community. You have added so much. If there's anyone on the call tonight that's not in the community, I'll make sure you have all the details to it. I have just loved getting to hang out with you in the like this summer. I feel like we become buds. So like I love seeing you. Also, Lela was who spoke earlier. So Lela and Vicki, for anyone who's wanting to remember names. So thanks for bringing that up. And yeah, I'll send everybody the notes on ghosting, and then we can talk about it in the community too, because I think this is a good conversation because there's a lot we can do. I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, Jessica. Is that everything you'd like to share for now?
Yes, ma'am. Have a great night.
All right, cool. You too. All right, Sade, are you cool to chat?
Yeah, I'm cool now.
Okay.
Sorry for the blurry. I normally would lay outside of my hammock, but like yesterday when I did that, the mosquitoes tore me up. So,
Oh no.
I'm in my car, and sometimes my car is my safe space. So, one, I just want to give a shout out to you, Mo and Lela, for sending this link to me. I think that's an example of quiet support and sisterhood. Yeah, hammocks are awesome. I recommend. And honestly, a lot of what's shared already, I think a lot of us have been on the same frequency as far as our experiences, and many ADHD folk and or neurodivergent people tend to have a lot of commonalities, including being quick to help others versus themselves, hyper focusing on where to meet other people's needs while neglecting your own, so on and so forth. But to be honest, what I've been working on recently is not pacifying how I feel, or I just have this tendency to always look for optimism, a silver lining. Okay, let me sleep on it, and or if I feel like I was, especially from long-term friends, if I feel like I've been approached in a way that wasn't ideal or wasn't thoughtful of me or my experience or my growth, sometimes I'll think further on it. Well, maybe. So, tolerance policy, especially because it's probably the emptiest it's ever been. It's so hard to climb myself out of that space. Militant about protecting my boundaries and protecting my mindset and protecting my peace because I really did a lot of work to get out of it this time. So that's what I'm working on, sticking to my guns, sticking to those boundaries, as opposed to what I've done for almost 3, going on 4 decades of my life. I would often have that gate, or, oh, well, maybe, or, well, they tried this. Um, I'm working on sticking to my guns when it comes to that. For August, I'm calling it abundance and acknowledging the people who are standing up, who are being there for me, regardless of how long I've known them or how short of a time I've known them. I've been appreciating and giving myself space and time to reflect on those who've come into my life who are examples of what I just mentioned, and also uh, people who are like-minded, especially when it comes to ambition, where I don't feel like I have to shrink because of all the things or me coming across as doing too much. That was told to me from someone I've known a long time. And I know sometimes people that you know who are used to you being typecast in a certain space, when they feel threatened by your growth, it's often because they think, okay, with this growth means I'm not going to see you. You're not going to be here. You're not going to be present. But honestly, even when I try to do all the things to pacify how I feel about it, it's just not moving. And I think the body keeps score. And I think that is a sign for me, um, to not dismiss it or be passive about it, but to be upfront about it. Specifically with engagement that I've had with folks who I think someone briefly mentioned earlier, energy vampires or outright narcissists. Being okay with standing 10 toes down, keeping your boundaries and gray walling. And if you come off as dry, mean, or aggressive, like I was literally, a term was used with me last week, I'll own it. I'll own every single negative connotation that you have for me, as long as what needs to be done or what boundary has been put up, it stays there. I'm just kind of no nonsense right now about it, and I'm okay to speak towards it because that's when I start to
Yes.
feel the weight lift off of me. So that's how I know that's the phase
Oh my
I'm entering
gosh.
into my life of, like, no, like, just no as a service. Just no, I'm not playing
Mm.
that. And I think everyone in this room can speak to experiences like that where it's okay to do that. I think that is the essence of Nice Girl Detox. This is my first night being here. Just
You're crushing it.
don't don't play about yourself. Like
Yeah.
when I had a conversation with a somatic therapist about inner child work, I spoke towards, if you see your 2-year-old, 3-year-old version of yourself, if you had that little kid or that little daughter, you wouldn't play about her. So that's the way we have to approach ourselves, our
Mm.
inner child. We have to be militant about those boundaries. We have to be no nonsense about them, because it's not worth feeling drained or looking back over your life saying I could have done more for myself. It's too many stories and testimonies of women in their 40s,
Mhm.
50s, and 60s speak to that. So
I
I'm glad I didn't go first, because I was like, I want my energy to shift, but it wasn't
you
it wasn't
literally
happening.
like
So
what a way to like close us out though. Like
yeah.
honestly, you and I feel like also just when you think about energy that pours in, these types of calls does that for all of us. That you really just poured into all of us, and you gave me chills and made me feel very excited about saying no, this month. So I just thank you so much for that. Is there any support that you could use from us in the next month as we lean in, and we're closer to time. So I want to make sure I ask that question.
Yeah, I think spaces like this is a lot.
Okay.
Even there's some people on the call who we just kind of share those quick things via message, because we all are super, super busy, of course. I'm just holding space. Someone mentioned to me a couple of days ago, hey, if you just want to have a talk, go out, sit down. Uh, Even though I know things come up and calendars get hectic, or I just simply forget because I almost forgot about this, and that's just charges to my mind, not my heart. I think the
Mhm.
thought matters, the intention matters. So I appreciate the support I've been getting so far. And that's what my practice, what I'm trying to grow in, is focusing on who is there versus who is not.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Sade. I love seeing you. I love your energy. I'm so glad that we're, connected and that we've been in each other's worlds a lot more, especially lately. Because I mean, you get Nice Girl Detox and you get the vibe, and you and I both know that like together. We've been chatting. So thank you so much. It looks like I'm gonna pull you off the spotlight. Jamie, we're not gonna have time, but I do want to let everyone know Jamie is a group expert in Nice Girl Detox on perimenopause. And I would love to get with you later on what you'd like to share. Maybe we could do it in the group. Does that sound fair? Maybe I have a little time for announcements. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. We'll put you first next time. Um, I want to do a couple announcements. I'll make them quick. we'll do the big announcements. I was going to take my time and drag it out, but you know what? Let's just rip off the Band-Aid. Nice Girl Detox is taking over everything in my life, and that means that main character coach is shifting away. I will still be doing coaching. It's just all going to be under the umbrella of Nice Girl Detox, because what I have found, especially for neurodivergent people, is that creating the kinds of support that neurodivergent people need and systems that are fucked up and broken isn't serving anyone. And so my mission really is here to now apply the lens of neurodivergence at the same time we're applying good girl conditioning and the wounding that we've experienced as women that have held us back. And so it's all shifting to Nice Girl Detox, but it's going to be very cool. So what I would love to share is we are going to be okay. I'm going to shift my announcements over. So we're going to be adding group coaching. So we'll have one-to-one coaching. I'll be opening up 2 spots in August, and I haven't opened up coaching since October of last year. So you're going to be seeing new coaching opportunities. So we're going to have group coaching. We're going to still do the one-to-one coaching. We're also going to have a community space that exists on an app, so that it's a lot more organized, and we'll have threads. I know that there are a lot of women in this space here who have a lot of experience with apps. I'm looking at the app that Tech Besties, if you've never heard of Tech Besties, Sade and Lela are both with Tech Besties, which we should totally hype up and talk to you guys about. They use circle.so. And so there's that app in school. I'm deciding between the two, but an app is coming. And it will also have a space for tons of resources too. A lot of what's been happening now is I'll kind of one-off resources here and there to people who need them at the time. But I want to really just open this up. And for me, it's about sisterhood, it's about community, and it's about us coming together. And I feel like Nice Girl Detox has inspired the hell out of me. And no, Charity, I will not stop coaching. It's coaching is still at the forefront of this. It's just all under the umbrella of Nice Girl Detox, because it's all the same. It's all the same. We're in this together, you know? And when we can liberate ourselves in every possible way, then opportunities are created by us, and they're created in community. You'll also be seeing a new series that I started. Ashley, you're gonna love this, called Herstory. And part of why I'm doing that is because our voices are super important, and this podcast is shifting back to exactly what you're having tonight. I moved to do more like guests, and I learned that that's cool, but I want to hear from everybody, because we tend to think that only certain people should talk, or have a voice, or it should look a certain way. But anyway, no. So you'll be seeing a new series coming out called Herstory, and I'll be sharing the stories of women who are in Nice Girl Detox. They'll be sharing their own stories, but I'll be putting them out there, right? So you'll be seeing that new series coming out very soon. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, there'll be a course. I have a course that I'll be, one of the main focuses of my coaching is energy budgeting, because if you have all the time in the world but you don't have energy, you're not getting anything done in your life, and you're certainly not serving yourself. You're drained, you're depleted. And so this course will be all about how do you rein in your own energy and get it to where you're serving yourself and you're able to accomplish what you want with the people that you want to do it with, you know, those reciprocal relationships, right? Yes, strict energy budget. So we'll have a course that will be all available there. Every single person who's in the Nice Girl Detox community. So if you are being coached by me one-to-one, or if you're doing group coaching, or you're a member who attends these calls, then you'll all be in the same place. We're going to be having very specific things that I'll be sharing with the group too, that are very tactical things that you can do on your own in a low-key way. You know, it's not homework or anything that is a huge ask, but it will be like prompts for you to reflect on a regular basis. Dares, challenges that help you to push outside of what you might normally be doing, or things that maybe you've been thinking about but haven't really felt secure enough to do for whatever reason. So we'll be having very intentional drops in that way, and it will all be coming out through the app, which will be right in your inbox, very organized. All the events for Nice Girl Detox will also be in the app. So what you're hearing is like for your neurodivergent brain, things are going to be cleaner, simpler, more organized. Going on. Let's do some giveaways. What I have is 4 little giveaways. It looks like we have 13 people here. So I'm gonna write down 4 numbers. And by the way, 14 is my birthday, July 14th. So I just wanted to throw that out there. We'll do okay, I just said that out loud, so I'm going to change that number. Okay, I picked 4 numbers. What I would love for everyone to do is just comment anything and then I'll count. Okay. And this may be a weird way to do it, but between 1 and 13. Sorry, I probably should have said that, Charity. Okay, is everyone's in? Charity says I still would have said 72. That's hilarious. Okay. So maybe I should have done this in a different way. This is a neurodivergent person being like, let's do a giveaway. I don't know how. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna base it off of 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna base it off of how you guys commented. Seaira, I think you were laughing at me, which is fine because I don't know. I've never done a giveaway before. Okay, so the numbers I picked were 3, 7, 9, and 11. So we have several people who said 7. Okay, this may feel unfair. What I'm thinking, tell me what you think. What I think we should do is this. I,
Mo, you have 3 people that said 7 and 1 person said 11. So there's your 4 winners right now.
oh my God, did you just help me sort that out? Thank you. It's
I
been
think
done.
so, yeah. So I think, if you want to just go down the line, Ashley would go first.
Yeah, honestly, I was panicking. I was like, I don't know what to do.
No, you're fine.
Okay, so we have Ashley, Seaira. Thank you so much. I need a counter always for me because I also have dyscalculia. Okay, so it looks like we have Ashley, Seaira, and Charity. Am I missing anybody? Wait. Ashley. Okay, guys, keep me honest. Ashley, Seaira. And then the 11 was the 11 was also Seaira. Okay. So Charity. So one more person said yeah, dyscalculia. It's a whole thing. So we need one more winner. Right? I think.
Yeah,
Because it was
I think, and I saw someone else choose 7, so I was like, wait, I'll change my number. I'll change it. So maybe I think that you're right. I think one more person.
okay. So you guys, here's what I'm thinking. I think I got to give it to Lela because she helped me count. Um, so I'll get with Ashley, Seaira, Charity, and Lela, and I will send you off your gifts. If I learned my lesson tonight, I'm gonna do this different next time, but there will be more giveaways. Thank you for being patient with me. If there's anything that you guys need in terms of support that you didn't share tonight, shoot me a little private message. I will be sending out all the details for tonight. You'll see this video later. You'll get everything. My first grade teacher would be so proud. Yes. Thank you so much. It takes a team. I appreciate you all. I am sending you so much love. Thanks for staying over 10 more minutes. And thanks for everybody who contributed tonight. I really appreciate you all. Have a great night. We'll see you. Yes, they are badass. You guys are all badass. I'm just reading through the comments as everyone pops off. Lovely to see you, Ashley. Lovely to see you, Seaira, my Leo queen. Kathleen, thank you for coming tonight. And also, Sade, thank you for sharing. I love your strict energy budget, Vicki. Thank you for being here, Vicki. Thank you for being here, Bree. Mwah.